Maybe you can share in this experience. Sometimes you just can't feel the Christmas spirit. This year I did everything I was supposed to do. Advent wreath, Advent calendar, several actually. I had coffee with self-made and decorated cookies. I bought and wrapped Christmas presents. I watched at least 3 Christmas movies, had Advent and Christmas music running in the house all day long. We got a Christmas tree and decorated it. Check, 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 check. I did everything, really everything I was supposed to do. But still, the Christmas spirit stays away. There's a distance between me and Christmas that I can't overcome. And mulled wine doesn't help either. A trench that I just can't jump. And this year, like last year too, COVID makes things more complicated and dictates us an additional distance, a safe distance. Another thing I noticed is that over the last 22 months, distance between the people here and those not local grew too. They experienced the pandemic differently than we did. There were different safety measures in place. Our life here differed and differs from the life in other parts of the US or the world. Our experiences here are not their experiences. Distances open up in families and between friends, also on topics of vaccination and masking. Trenches are opened wide, or are they just getting visible now? Physical, emotional, and political trenches. But the problem is, Christmas is all about closeness, right? It's about being together with the loved ones, with friends and family, taking a break from our everyday life to connect with candles, with good food, with laughter and presents, gathering up for worship, celebrating Jesus as Emmanuel, God with us, and not God at a distance. So what we experience now is the opposite of Christmas then? The opposite of closeness? Or maybe not? Is there more distance in Christmas and the story of God, the Word, coming into the world and becoming flesh than we might see at a first glance? So it is true, the angel Gabriel visits Mary, and the shepherds and the wise men come to see Jesus, but they all arrive suddenly as uncanny strangers, and the Holy Family who has just been through this ordeal of birth, they wouldn't hug joyously. These are strangers. There would have been an awkward greeting, keeping a respectful distance, a short visit, and then everyone moves on. It is true, the angels call to the shepherds, but they do so out on the open hillside, across a grand distance on a cold winter's night. And the wise men notice a star, long, long way off, and they set out to follow it. Most of their journey isn't about closeness, but rather about longing for closeness, seeking out something far away. And today's gospel text talks about distance too. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word seemed to be far away with God, somewhere. It sounds like there was a huge distance between God and humans, two separate realities that just couldn't be bridged. That's why the Word became flesh, took on human shape and form and suffering in Jesus. But still, people had trouble recognizing God in him, and therefore didn't accept God, didn't embrace God. We've kept and we keep our distance too. Maybe sometimes because we can't grasp what God is, who God is. Maybe sometimes because we just can't make the emotional connection to God. Maybe sometimes because all these words are just words, hollow and empty. But all these emotions can be found in the Christmas story too. All these emotions are part of Christmas. It is a story of hope and longing. and distance. We get a glimpse of the closeness we long for, and at the same time, it shows us our present distance, the journey we still have to travel. Jesus comes to bridge some distance, to reconcile us with God, other people, ourselves. Jesus comes to show us the way, but his birth on this earth is only the beginning. So we too are on a journey towards God, other people, ourselves. And yes, we can meet God, other people, and ourselves along the way. We can enable closeness, community, and being together instead of deepening trenches between us and the people we love, between the present state of the world and the world as God desires it to be. The world God calls us to make real, the world God promises to deliver, the dawning of God's reign. And the first step, I'm pretty sure, on our journey is to recognize and to accept that sometimes we can't really get into the Christmas spirit, because there is just this huge gap between where we are and where we want to be, how we feel right now and what we long for. And when we dare to be honest with ourselves, when we dare to look at our emotions, and maybe also the grief about what can't be and what maybe never was, then we are making the first step. When we realize that our world shrinks because of fear, because of angst of the future, and that it is this angst that limits our vision and our empathy, and that it is because of this angst that we curl up into ourselves and lull ourselves in pre-Christmas busyness, while we actually chase our emotions and see so many un-Christmassy things around us. It is still a season of joy, of course. God with us is really born today, and the nights are getting shorter. There's coming more light. But it's also a season of yearning for what's to come, mourning for what we've lost, and renewing our trust that God is with us, even at a distance, with us in the longing, with us as we go. Amen.